And here we go.
Hi everybody, my name is Jenny and this channel is called Senior Perspective. Thanks for joining me. Make sure you subscribe if you're new here, and let's talk about this second look back episode.
Second half coming up next.
All right, there's a clip that I'm going to insert here. I have to go back and see what it is. I don't remember what it is, so I'm just going to read you what I wrote in my notes that go along with the clip that I will eventually find.
It was really sad to hear somebody who was so all about family and just be like, I don't care about any of you guys anymore.
I wrote, it seems clear that Kody doesn't care anymore for his family. And it's ironic, isn't it? Because his family won't conform to his ideal of what the structure and the location of a family should look like. He has then tossed the family aside and just kept his favorites nearby. Yet, Kody claims his life mission is to make the family work.
But the whole experience is just heartbreaking to me. Because my life mission was to make this family functional and whole. They ain't never gonna work together. They don't care.
How can that be? It can't be your life's mission if you don't put effort and work into it. And you intentionally sabotage it. Unless you're a glutton for punishment, you wouldn't have a life mission and then intentionally sabotage it. It's not your life mission. It could be a fake life mission just for other people to see. And then you could be the victim and said, I tried so hard, but I can't do it all myself. We go to the car ride scene, the one that has been played many times over, and we've discussed a lot, so I won't beat a dead horse on this one. But this is the car ride with Mary and Kody that was a year after they were at Flagstaff, and it was their anniversary because it's the only time they get in a car together or see each other is on their anniversary, when Mary reminds him that it's their anniversary. During this scene is when Kody was upset because Mary wasn't making any efforts to court him.
You and I have not been out together since last year's anniversary.
You want to be with me, but you're not courting me to that relationship.
I didn't know I was supposed to court you.
You're not supposed to.
She's not making any effort.
No, that's not true. That is not true.
I'm not making
That's
any
not
effort.
true.
Where do you think that puts us?
But at the same time, in the same conversation, she said, I'm waiting for you to come. And he said, I'm not going to come.
I've been waiting for you, honestly.
And I'm not coming.
But you just said that.
I know.
So we have a little bit of a discussion here right now about mixed signals.
Here's the thing. He was very confusing. He said, well, you're not courting me. And then he said almost immediately after, but I'm not coming. It's like, well, what do I do with that?
Good question.
Every time we get together, she has a lot of blame for me. That's not courting me. That's blaming me.
You playing with me, right?
And as this topic comes up, what do you think Kody's gonna bring up? We'll go back to our same list, A, B, C, D, or E. If you chose D, catfishing, ding, 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 you win. Because it's the only thing he can hold over Mary's head.
I'm like, I didn't get catfished. I didn't kick me out.
The only thing she's done in their 33 years of marriage that he can be upset by is this catfishing situation. It's significant, I get it, but it didn't physically go anywhere in the end. I was going to say, and she apologized, but I don't think she did. So anyway, Kody's not over it. He'll never be over it. Let's face it. She could come groveling to him and say, I was so wrong. I was desperate. I was needy. I felt abandoned by you emotionally and physically, and I sought out something to fulfill something in me I shouldn't have, and I'm sorry. That's what Mary needs to say. But even if she does, I don't think he'll say I forgive you, but he will keep bringing it up. I'm sure of it. Kody goes on to say that Mary did things that made their relationship not fixable, which is interesting.
There's a reason I don't trust you. There's a reason that you're not safe for me. She did things that made that relationship, in my mind, not fixable.
Now, if we're talking about the catfishing thing, if that was unfixable 14 years ago, 7 years ago, how many years ago was the catfishing thing? I think it's close to 14 years because wasn't it? It was just a few years after he married Robin. So maybe 13 years ago-ish. So if that was unfixable, why did he drag her on for all these years?
Good question. Good question.
He could have off camera told her what he just now told her off camera, which is it's never going to happen. So he says she did things that made the relationship not fixable, but then you move to Flagstaff and you tell her, you're not courting me. Oh, the man doesn't even know what he wants or what he's saying.
Yep, he's a mess.
And I wrote on here, you're telling Mary to move to Flagstaff. And if she does that, that will be your new beginning. Do you know why that had to happen? There's no way Kody could afford Coyote Pass without the sale of Mary's house. She put all her proceeds and profits into the land and I believe partially into the purchase of Kody and Robin's house. Oh, could she just hire a lawyer and get that money back? Please, dear God.
Call lawyer immediately.
So this is why he's promising her a new beginning there. He had to have her on board. Their relationship was not in a good place because this was after the catfishing thing and they weren't talking to each other at all. He was not spending any nights anymore over at her place. So how is he going to get the money out of the sale of that house? How is she not just going to sell it and take off and run? I know. I'll promise her that we'll get back together. Or we'll work on it.
Sure you will.
He's evil, conniving, and a liar. Okay, I will insert a clip here. I can't remember what it was, but I wrote here, there's a flashback to an emotional, selfish Kody on a date with Mary. Oh, I've added that this is the point where he doesn't want to meet the emotional needs of his wives anymore. I think this was that same date when they were in the car driving, but it's when they went to the campsite later in the day and they self-videoed. They had their own cell phones. Again, because TLC is so lame. They're making, so much money on advertising on this show, and yet 50% of it is their own cell phone footage with no mics. Even the talkbacks, they were not mic'd. They set up their cell phones on a tripod and recorded themselves from afar. The audio's terrible. I can't believe it. TLC is so cheap.
Because I feel immense pressure all the time for satisfying emotional needs of a wife that I have sometimes no interest in satisfying.
Dude, you've got 4 wives and 18 kids. You're just going to pick and choose who you're going to keep?
So I have written down here that he no longer wants to meet the emotional needs of his wives anymore. Well, you should have thought of that before you got your pencil wet 15 times and had kids. Oh. Did she say that? I'm just quoting Kody. A phrase I never heard in my life before Kody said it. So in this scene, Mary is reflecting and saying that she's confused because he's not coming out and telling Mary, this is how I feel about you. He's saying this ambiguous, this is how I feel about wives in general.
If he was talking to me and about me, he should have said, hey, Mary, this is not going to work for us. I think you should leave.
Because he didn't direct it specifically at Mary, Mary just kind of dismissed it, assuming that when he had something to say about her, that he would come right to her and talk to her about it. This is not going to happen for about another 4 years later after they filmed this. What I just don't understand in this situation is if Mary felt that way, that she was confused because he wasn't talking about her, why does she never ask for clarification? Is it that he talks in circles and riddles and analogies so much that they just numb their brains when he's speaking? So they don't challenge him because they never really understand what he's talking about anyway. I mean, it's possible after that many years. But she never came back and said, well, who are you talking about? Or more specifically, are you referring to me when you're saying this? That would have clarified it. I mean, maybe. Who knows what he would have said? Could have thrown out another analogy that made no sense. Christine thinks that he was talking about both Mary and Christine.
So he's not only talking about Mary here, he's also talking about me, wondering why I don't leave. And then I leave, and he's all, why does she leave? It came out of the blue. Oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. Have some accountability.
I love this clip next where Christine points out that Kody kept telling her to leave, and then he pitched a fit and kept fussing when she did. So true. So true.
A real victimized victim.
Robin is discouraged, obviously, with the rest of the sister wives, as she says, people. She won't even say sister wives. We're now saying people in the family. Oh my gosh. We can't, we're not going on that platform again. Okay, Robin says people are changing what they originally said they wanted for this family. And she's upset by that. I wonder if she's holding Kody accountable for changing what he wanted in the family too, because for 15 years he had a solid family with 3 wives and 13 kids. And then after Robin came and they started having kids, what he wanted completely changed. And he did not want those first 3 wives at all anymore. Or the kids that came with them. That part I can't understand. I mean, I can't understand any of it, but that part I really can't understand as a parent. So after watching this campfire scene, Kody admits that he is pissed at the campfire scene because it was right after the taping where the wives said, if Kody passes, they'll be fine. And Robin even said, it'll be a girl party. So I don't remember how it popped up or how the question, I do remember it, but I remember it being kind of benign. Like they were just joking around. They've already said in the past, they love going on these vacations because Kody's not there and life is easy when Kody's not around. But apparently a question was posed and they were all on the couch in the interview thing about what life would be like if Kody passed. And he was there at the time. I'll put the clip in here for you to see, but basically they were like, whoop, whoop, we're going to have a good time once he's gone. As a joke, of course. But Kody can't take a joke, especially at his own expense.
Oh, and Cody's dead. We'll get along just great.
Hanging around, I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a little bit of a girl party, Kody.
Poor thing's probably icing a bruised ego.
Christine adds, it's just more fun without Kody.
When Cody's around, it's fine. We do have a tendency to have more fun when he's not there, though.
You.
Can you believe he said that? Can you believe he said that?
So I suffer in plural marriage. Sacrificing. It ain't all beer and Skittles.
Oh, geez, here we go again.
For you to finally like that other woman enough to be her friend when I'm dead? To really care about her children when I'm dead?
Pull it together.
No. You guys get in line now. Get the hell out.
No way he just said that.
He cannot believe it. He cannot believe it. So he's interpreting this conversation as if it's happening right now, after the divorces have all happened. So he's more angry now than he was back at the campfire 4 years ago, 3 years ago, whenever it was during COVID. Because he's saying, oh, I was really upset at that campfire scene because they had just talked about how happy they would be and it would be a girl party once if Kody were to pass. And his response to that is, F you. You want to get together after I'm dead? After all this work I put in, that's when you want to get together? I just, oh. If you could at all, Kody, be a selfless person, you would be very happy that they got together after your death. Let me just say, I use my kids so much as an example, and I haven't been through a divorce, so I can't relate to that part. And I don't have sister wives, so I can't relate to that part. But I do know what it's like to have somebody who you really love and to have multiple ones of it. If I had 2 kids that hated each other, that were pitted against each other, who couldn't get along with each other, and I knew that after I pass, things were going to change. They were going to get along. They were going to have a good time. They were going to be great. I would have such peace about that. Of course, I'd prefer it happen right now, where I'm here in my life. But the knowledge of knowing, listen, down the road, after you're gone, your kids, they're going to be each other's best friends. Especially if they're fighting right now and not getting along. Oh my goodness, what joy and peace that would bring me. Not Kody. Not Kody. He is more upset that his wives are going to get along eventually. He wants it now in his life so he can see it. Oh my goodness. This is a man who has zero control over his emotions and certainly of his anger. This is him controlling himself.
But I want it now!
In front of producers and staff and a camera that's going to get broadcast to the world, and he knows he's going to be critiqued. This is what he's allowing to come out under those circumstances. What comes out in the privacy of his home? I can't even imagine. We now go on to the breakup scene at Christine's house between Christine and Kody.
I think we both just need to be free of each other. I'm just ready to be free. It was bad before COVID. It's been 10, 12 years of bad.
No, it's not been 10 or 12 years of bad.
For you, it's been longer.
All of Lehigh, I thought, was a beautiful experience, a blessing, everything.
I love the line where Kody says, everything was great for 13 years in Lehigh, and then all of a sudden, what happened to you? But this was only a couple years ago. He says, everything was great in Lehigh for 13 years? So were you lying then, or are you lying now? Because now you're saying the whole thing was a mess. You were always dysfunctional. It was all an act, and you were always pretending. I think the truth snuck out then. I think they were all happy. I mean, is there a house that doesn't have some sort of turmoil at some point or another? Obviously, they're going to have little fights here and there, but by and large, they were a cohesive, happy family. And the kids, for that many kids, shockingly, really got along pretty well together.
I'm just glad she was brave enough to do it. Because no, I wasn't in love with her. And as much as I tried to love her, it just wasn't working all the time.
And now he's happy that she had the courage to do it because it had to happen. Then why did you pitch a fit? Why the knife and the kidneys? Well, we'll talk about that. We're going to get to it. But he's glad she had the courage to go because he couldn't leave her. Okay. Moving on. Don't believe you. Christine said that was a hard conversation, but it was fantastic when it was over because she felt free. And Kody now goes on to explain what he was probably referencing back at that restaurant, in that he's the real prisoner in all of this. He can't leave.
She called me a coward.
Oh, yes!
Because I was never willing to break up with her. It's because, well, you're not really allowed. I'm the prisoner here. I can't just go, hey, I'm done with you. When a polygamist husband goes, hey, listen, I can't deal with this woman anymore, he goes through the church authority channel. You know, it's like, I just can't do this anymore. And they'll say to him,
we have another game show question, folks. Here we go. If a polygamist husband wants to leave his wife, what is the first word the church authority is going to say to you? He's going to say A, brother. B, my child. C, parishioner. Or D, dude.
Please give your answer.
Locking in?
Locking it.
Can't even say it with a straight face. You are right. The church authorities are going to say to you, dude.
Dude, you're stuck. You don't have that choice. Once we've committed to marry a woman, the choice is gone.
Dude, you don't have a choice. That's what they're going to say. Yeah, they are, Kody. Yeah, they are.
Thanks for playing, and I hope you had fun!
So then we go to clip 17.
Let's move on to clip 17.
Okay.
This one's going to be tough.
Okay.
They prepare Robin ahead of time and say, this might be a difficult one. She's like, okay. She flips open the iPad and hears Christine sitting on the porch saying,
So you guys can tell by the yard sign outside that I put the house on the market.
I can't watch this. I'm sorry. I don't want to start having another panic attack. That was a very, very, very painful day.
So you guys can see from the yard sign on the lawn that I put my house on the market. Boom! That's all she could handle. She closes the iPad and says, I can't watch this. Honestly? Seriously. Get a grip, Robin. Just do your job. And then Robin throws out the panic attack card. So we can't say any more at that point. She apparently had a panic attack when she left last time and doesn't want to have another panic attack.
Look, even if it's true,
I just don't understand why these are causing panic attacks. Of course, I don't want her to have another panic attack if indeed she had a panic attack. Never saw it, just saw her kind of freaking out. Let me be. Maybe it did turn into a full-blown panic attack. I get she doesn't want to have another one, but why? Why would Christine saying, I have a yard sign on my lawn, as you can see, I'm going to be leaving the family, going to cause her to go into a panic attack?
So you guys can tell by the yard sign outside that I put the house on the market.
I can't watch this.
Oh, she needs to get a grip. How does she handle everyday life? She clearly has not experienced real trauma in her life. She can't. She cannot have. I have to question the validity of her abuse from her first marriage because I think that would be so significant if I had 3 small kids and I was getting abused by somebody and I had to leave with my kids. If I survived that and came out on the other side and ended up with a husband who loved me more than anybody and a whole lot of money that I could buy anything I want because I have a shopping addiction, I would think I'm in a pretty good place. Does she forget what she went through in the past, or is it not true? I'm sorry, it's just not that big a deal. It's a situation that happened, it's over, they dealt with it, nobody died, nobody got maimed, nobody got ill. One of the sister wives who's had difficulty for years upon years upon years decided it's time to go. And she thinks she's going to have another panic attack watching it on an iPad. I mean, she didn't have a panic attack when she was there. I don't know. The victimhood is going up to a whole nother level. SNL reference. So we all get to see the lovely knife in the kidney scene again, which we can all recite in our sleep. The sacrifices that I made to love you were none because I never loved you, I guess. The whole speech is watered down now because he has since said never loved her, but he's claiming all the sacrifices he made to love her. Oh, well, we're going to get to that. The sacrifices I made to love you. Why am I yelling? Kody now admits that he escalated and got angry at this moment because he interpreted the scene between the conversation with Robin and Christine as if Robin was groveling and begging to have a friendship with Christine, and she was denying her. Okay, that didn't happen.
What teed me off, I think, was Robin kind of groveling to Christine. It's like, are you going to be our friend? Are you still going to be our friend? I'm like, why are you even wanting to be her friend?
There was no groveling. Robin asked for clarification. Christine gave it. And Christine's wasn't definite. She just said, right now. Right now, I'm not interested in a relationship right now with you. That's all she said. That's all she said.
Do we just need to, give you your space? Are you interested in some sort of trying to work stuff out? Maybe from the past how many years?
I think for right now, I need space.
Okay.
For right now. The thing is, I didn't say it was over. I just said for right now, I just need space. For right now.
But Janelle was on to Kody. She didn't even hear this most recent talking head, but she said,
generally what happens is anytime Robin is slighted, and I'm sure you've seen this happen, he gets angry, he tries to shut things down, or he blows up, and it's always about Robin, like he's in the orbit around Robin.
If Kody ever senses that Robin is being disrespected in any way, he shuts it down immediately. End of the conversation. We're not even moving on. He protects his little duff. Robin did fine there. She didn't even cry.
Chanel?
But yet now, 2 years later, she would have a panic attack if she had to watch it on a little iPad. I don't know. None of it makes sense. Mary said during this whole scene, she was feeling pain inside, largely because she really felt like she was in the middle.
I feel like I can be more honest now, how I really felt in that moment.
And she felt like she wasn't on team Christine and Mary. She wasn't part of that friendship.
You know, Janelle and Christine had this relationship. I was not in that with them, and I was definitely not in the Kody and Robin club either.
And she wasn't on Robin and Kody's team. They did their own thing and pretty much left her out. So she was on an island.
But I wanted to have a marriage.
So she backed Kody.
Truthfully, I disagree with some things that Christine did. I highly disagree with some things that Kody did.
Okay, we've heard about this girl that they courted before. Now, unless this is a different girl, I knew that there was somebody that they were courting before Christine came into the family who Kody really liked, but she broke it off. Now, that might be a different girl. So all of you all know way more than I do. All you sleuths out there, write it down below. But I know that girl and her family wasn't really fond of Kody either. So they cut it off right before she turned 18, I think. I think the girl was only 17 years old at the time. And they were going to get married. And then they cut it off right before she turned 18. And the marriage never happened. Well, Kody is now talking about a girl, maybe the same one, maybe a different one. Here's the story he's telling. He said there is a woman that he courted before, Janelle, who was friends with Mary. Okay, so this is before he even married Janelle. So he's with Mary right now. So this good shows you how far back he had a friendship with Christine, who he claims he really should have courted her a lot longer because he didn't know her at all. Christine has also said they were friends for 3 years prior to getting engaged. Okay, so Kody marries Mary. Mary has another friend, and Kody's interested in the friend. But apparently, Christine tells Kody, if you marry her, I will never marry you or be part of the family because I don't like her. And Kody didn't marry her.
Your story was a lie.
Oh, Kody did not think through this story before he made it up. He really didn't. Because he is implying he had a deep emotional connection to Christine a long time ago.
There was a woman that I was courting for a very long time before I married Janelle. Her and Mary were friends. After I married Christine, she still wanted to be in the family.
None of that is true.
Christine shut it down the first time because, Christine and I were friends. She says, I'd never marry you if you married her.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
And then Christine had no interest in having her in the family after Christine had come into the family.
I didn't try to prevent Kody from getting married again. I just don't even remember her wanting to marry Kody. It's just a lie. I'm sorry, that's just a lie. And why is he living in the past? Why is this relevant to anything?
And the sacrifices that I made to love you, wasted. I'm going back through all of this. There was sacrifices I made to love Christine.
Oh man, the sacrifice to love you. I'm like, I would have decked him. At that point, what the hell?
He had to have loved Christine more than this girl, if this were true, to tell the girl, I'm not going to marry you. And then go on to marry Janelle, and then a year later go on to marry Christine. So this was years before he married Christine. Apparently, Christine said, oh, if you marry her, you're never going to marry me. And he's like, oh, okay. Not going to marry her then because I want to marry you. Completely contradictory to the story that he told before, that he never really wanted to marry Christine. She was just royalty family in the church, and he did it sort of out of obligation, really should have courted her a lot longer. and never loved her.
Yeah, that was a tangled web of lies.
I'm sorry, the story doesn't jive. It just doesn't jive. She never wanted to marry Kody. We'll say maybe, even if Kody's whole story was true, that he was interested in her and Christine said, well, no, I won't marry you if you marry her. It's all null and void anyway. The girl never wanted to marry Kody. In the end, there were no other sister wives that came to be that wanted to be a wife of Kody's, besides Janelle, Christine, and Mary, and then eventually Robin. And Christine has a very good point. It's over 30 years ago. Why are we bringing this up now? That whole knife in the kidney thing, that's the thing that he recalled in his brain to yell out, all the sacrifices I made for you. First of all, it's one sacrifice, if it's even true, that he wouldn't marry somebody else to marry Christine. What are all the other sacrifices? This is the only one he can come up with, and it was over 30 years ago.
And it's a lie.
He looks dumber and dumber as he gives more explanations. I wish we could sit down and ask him more in-depth questions, because the contradictory statements and the silly, stupid, dumb statements he makes are entertaining. So this whole story just proves his dear, entrenched love for Christine, if he's telling the truth. All right, what's it going to be, Kody? You've told two completely different stories now. Which one do you pick? Did you love Christine? Or did you not love Christine and you just made up this whole story? And this is the part we all were waiting for. Here we go. Kody again showing his true colors. Let me just preface this with, I do not think it's the first time that Kody demonstrated this behavior with the directors and producers. I think he's been this difficult all along, and I think they're done with him. And I think they're now showing on camera stuff they used to cut and edit out so that the family looked so much better. And I think TLC is finally starting to show the family as is and who they really are. And I think Kody is going to lose his mind when he sees the show and that they left this action of his in. That's my opinion, honestly. He's going to lose his marbles. So the producer has him open up the iPad, and the producer or director says, okay, are you ready for the big fight scene? And Kody becomes unraveled and refuses to watch the scene on the iPad.
All right, you ready for the big fight?
A fight with Janelle? I'm not watching that again. No, I'm not. Listen, I don't want to talk about my breakup with Janelle anymore, okay? All right?
It is so cute when he thinks he's a joke.
He can't watch it. Even though his behavior was abhorrent, I will admit, Janelle told him to F off, and that was wrong. So she had one line in this whole argument. Other than that, she kind of raised her voice, but she has such a sweet voice. It sounded like this when she was arguing. There was nothing threatening about Janelle whatsoever, as she was very comfortably set into the corner of the couch, whereas Kody and his ominous presence of pointing and leaning forward and getting up and really angry, intense, and loud voice was very threatening. Yet, Kody can't watch the scene. Janelle can. Janelle has to relive somebody talking like that to her and watching it again. And she's willing to watch it. Kody, just like his wife Robin, cannot handle life.
It's very painful. It's as bad as Christine's.
And Kody claims that this was a very painful scene, so painful, just as painful as it was when his first wife left. Well, the first wife leaving should not have been painful. You just got finished saying, I'm glad she left because I couldn't. And you've also said you never loved her. And she caused all kinds of turmoil and strife in your family, and she didn't love Robin. You should have been celebrating and eating pie the day that she left. But instead, you're now saying this breakup scene with Janelle was just as difficult as that day that Christine left. I mean, I can't figure it out. My head is swimming.
But I didn't want to admit the same things that were going on with me and Janelle. I still struggle to admit those. That Janelle and I are not good together. She's not a loyal wife, and I'm probably a husband. I don't care. We're not working anymore, and I don't want to talk about it anymore.
You're working overtime.
That is work.
This is all you do.
So, just answer my question.
I would love to see the contract that everybody signed for this season, because Kody, he's implying they're not getting paid for these extra talk back, look back episodes. I would think that would be just embedded in the normal contract, and they're wearing the same clothes that they were wearing on one of the days when they were responding to the, the normal talking heads that they respond to the episodes and splice into the episodes. So it wasn't an extra day. It wasn't even a change of clothes. They just answered more questions, knowing that they were going to go into this other episode at the very end. But according to Kody, he said, "We're not working anymore. I don't want to talk about it anymore. We're not working anymore. I don't want to talk about it anymore." So that would imply that they're not getting extra money for these episodes. He's pulling the card of, "You going to pay me more money? No? All right." Which would explain why Robin was so pissy in that talkback episode. She was probably like, "No, I don't want to do it." Because you can see she's difficult too. She keeps walking off. And they were probably saying, "Yeah, you have to. Do you want to stay a part of this series? You have to do this. Do you want to come back and have a season next year? Just watch the video and respond." She was probably threatened with not getting a contract next year if she didn't participate in all this. So she's like, fine. And she showed up with that pissy face and had it the entire time. It all makes sense now, doesn't it?
By George, she's got it.
They're mad they're not getting more money. It all fits. It all fits. Well, when Janelle has to watch Kody's abuse of her, she just smiles and afterwards goes, "What an ass." Who is healthy inside? Should we do another game? There's only two questions. We have Kody and we have Janelle. Who is the healthy one? I mean, it's not even a fair question. 100% of the class get it right. Janelle, healthy. Kody, not so healthy.
Stay and talk.
No, I'm not going to, because you're not listening.
You're not listening to me.
And I'm not going to.
Okay, so we're done.
Goodbye.
You.
Yeah, what an ass.
Janelle reviews now the whole situation with the boys and how Kody originally wanted an apology from the boys to Robin, and then he recanted and said he just wanted an apology, and then he recanted and said they need to come to him and have a conversation, which everyone knew the subtext of meant the conversation would include the boys would apologize to him. Kody, of course, won't initiate any of this conversation with his boys. He goes to Janelle and tells them, "You need to tell the boys that they need to come to me."
Oh, that's good parenting.
Yet, in that other scene, when Janelle said, "Well, the boys know they can't come to your house for Christmas because they have to have this conversation," he got so mad at her. "Don't talk on my behalf." And she's like, "Well, what am I supposed to say?" "Call Dad."
I swear to God, that's what he told me.
Oh, the contradictions. I mean, I won't call my kids, so tell them this. Why did you tell them that? Oh, call Dad. Well, you know what? Call your kids. Two can play this game. Christine reiterates what was all said. You're the parent, be one.
I think as the parent, it's your job to actually be more of the adult in any situation with your kids. You are forever their parent. Forever.
Janelle thinks when this fight started that Kody was thinking Janelle was going to side with him against her children. And then that didn't work out.
I think in his perfect world, I would have stood with him against my kids. And then when I won't, he just loses his crap. Like it's all my fault.
Kody obviously doesn't know Janelle well enough, or any mother. And shockingly at this point, Janelle admits that the kids still don't really have a relationship with Kody, but Garrison has a little bit of one. Although no apologies have happened and nothing's been mended.
So the conversation still hasn't happened. There's still nothing. He does have somewhat of a relationship with Garrison right now, a little bit, but there's no reconciliation really.
But apparently there's some conversation between Garrison, which surprised me because I felt like Garrison is the one who really dug in deep and was like, I mean, Garrison's the one that's like, Robin, have him. We don't need a father figure anymore. We're grown adults. That was Garrison. Gabe is the one that looks like he had the tender heart and who would cry over the situation and who was torn up about it. I would have thought Gabe would have been the first one to give in and apologize for doing nothing. But apologize, because that's what Kody wants. I mean, I guess Garrison hasn't apologized either, but I'm just surprised that conversation is starting. I think Gabe may have really been scarred by that whole birthday scene, and then subsequently how his father wasn't reaching out to him. I think out of all the kids, I believe Gabe really needs to be, I hope he's in therapy and he has somebody he can talk through this mess with, because it's a mess. And I think he was really, really hurt, scarred, actually. How does Janelle feel about Kody now? Well, she says this.
This is me saying I don't want him in my life anymore. He's not going to be at my house. I don't care if I ever interact with Kody again, honestly, at this point.
And we get one more scene of the Coyote Pass breakup scene. Does anybody want to see it again? I will say there was a little bit of extended footage in here, so I will clip that in there for you to see. Most of it was the same, but there were some lines in response to other lines and like an additional sentence here and there that we hadn't seen in the original episode.
All right, one last clip.
I don't want to see this clip either.
I have written in my notes, poor Mary. In this scene, she had to break up with two people. She had to break up with Kody, work so hard to get him to admit that he wanted to break up with her. What an awful thing to do, to make her work so hard to get her husband to break up with her when she didn't want to be broken up with. Oh, that's messed up when you really analyze that. But then on top of it, she had to comfort and coddle Robin over the breakup and reassure her, telling her, yeah, we're going to break up, but we'll still be together. So she had to handle that kind of breakup in a different way. It's just a mess. The more I look back at it, those two really put Mary through the ringer that day. We have Mary now reflecting on how she wished it all went down that day.
I know that you are capable of loving me.
Of performing my duty.
Wow. My intention...
I was
interrupting!
hanging on with you.
And I think now you need to let go. I really, really wish that he would take some sort of accountability and just be like, I did love you.
Don't hold your breath.
And then I realized that I didn't. And leave it at that.
But he can't admit it.
It's not fair for me to sit there and watch you have a marriage relationship with Robin while I'm just in the shadows.
And she adds that Kody has been unfair to her. Truth.
Never able to have an emotional, intimate relationship ever again.
I've written down here that Kody finally, and I underlined it, is reflective and realizes the errors of his ways. And he's turned a new leaf after all this time, based on this statement.
Okay, I was a little harsh. I said I wasn't in love with you.
Oh wait, there's more. The real Kody's back. Then he says this.
It was because she beat the love out of me over our first year of marriage.
It was during his first year of marriage that he was saying that Mary beat the love out of him. So now we're changing the story again for the third time. And now he's saying he did love Mary. He was in love with Mary when he got married to her. The whole, I didn't even want to go back to the bedroom with my wife. I was having so much fun hanging out with my friends. That was all a lie. He's now saying he loved her and it was great, but she beat that love out of him within the first year, to the point he needed to get another wife.
From the beginning, Mary and I had a lot of problems. I couldn't fix them. I didn't know what to do. Divorce wasn't an option in my world. Just diluting the relationship was the only option I had. I'm like going, hey, I need another wife because I can't spend all my time with her.
That was how he was going to deal with her. Instead of solving the problem when working through it, he thought the answer is, let me get another one. Let me duplicate this. And maybe I'll spend less time with her and everything will be great.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Because Mary's the kind of personality that would just love having to share time with Kody. I mean, messed up. Kody finally admits that he could not divorce any of his wives, so he intentionally tried to push Mary into leaving. Well, we saw that, didn't we? Thank you for admitting it, Kody. I have a note on my notes here that says, after 1 year, you needed a second wife so you would only spend half your time with Mary? Was she really that awful? Did you not vet her properly, Kody? Those are your choices. You either didn't properly vet her or you're rewriting history now. Which is it? Mary said the Kody of today is a whole different person than the Kody she married, and that she's not interested in being married to this Kody.
He seems like a completely different person than the Kody of 10, 12, 14, 20 years ago. And I'm not willing to be married to this person. Hence, I'm not.
We go to the final scene of Robin sitting on the picnic table bench, crying over how terrible her life is. Major victim.
I wanted to sit on a porch with my sister wives here on this property. I don't understand.
And then we cut to Kody saying this.
There are no victims in this family.
There's no victims. There's no victims. TLC is trolling them so bad right now. We're going to show Robin in the ultimate scene of her acting like a victim after this breakup that had nothing to do with her. And she has inherited all this land. And she got the guy in the end. But she's complaining like the ultimate, the pinnacle of victimhood. And then they cut to Kody saying, nobody in this family is a victim. Because a little out of touch, Kody. Or just lying. Could be both. And Kody says, it's sad, and sadness makes me angry.
It's sad. Sadness makes me angry.
Well, Kody, you need to work on that. When I'm sad, I don't become angry. Ever. Sadness never makes me angry. I don't think that's a natural progression of emotion. So hopefully he's receiving some sort of help for that. I mean, he 100% needs anger management, but I believe he needs way more than that of psychological treatment and help and therapy. Just my opinion. At the very end, we have Robin reflecting on their whole lives together. And of course, in the reflection, she's able to find what she did wrong and admit to it.
I got you.
Of course, she didn't do that. I didn't fool any of you, did I? I didn't fool any of you. Let's count how many times she talks about what went wrong, but she says, we. And she probably thinks she's being altruistic by saying we, because she's including herself in there. She's not just saying them, but she's saying we. But it's not we. She takes zero personal responsibility for anything that's gone wrong. This is what's gone wrong according to Robin. We screwed up so bad, all of us. We didn't communicate enough. We weren't following our family mission. We weren't looking at each other with charity and love. We let the ease of living apart drive us apart from each other. We let COVID drive us apart. Can't believe she threw a we in there. Let's keep going. We held on to grudges and didn't let them go. We let fear drive us. We let jealousy drive us. We let selfishness drive us. And after those 10, I thought, okay, you can tell from the tone of her voice that she had one more to add. And I thought, This is it. She's going to drive it home. She's going to say, and I take responsibility for this, or I feel like I could have done this, or no I statements. We end it with, we failed. Wait, there's more. We screwed up. Oh, wait, she's not done. And we're going to have to live with that. We're going to have to live with that. All right. I thought we were going to end it with at least one I statement so that you could receive forgiveness and redemption for all of it. Like I'd forgive everything from the whole season and all the mess if you could just give us one I statement. Just one. She can't be in therapy. I statements are like therapy 101. I've never even been in therapy, and I know what I statements are and how you're supposed to use them. 14 we statements, 0 I statements. You lose. Redemption denied. You had a chance. You had a chance. They even gave you the floor at the very end, just like they did at the season finale.
So you blew it.
You could have made the most of it, and you could have gotten people to get on your side. I mean, maybe a little. She can't do it. Neither can Kody. This is how it's going to be going forward. It will forever be everyone else's fault. I just wonder if the two of them start to turn on each other. Because who do they have left to blame but each other? Next season's going to be an interesting one. All right, we are done. We are officially done. Kinda. There's still the wedding episodes. But we're done with the whole family. I enjoyed doing this with you. Thank you all for all the subscriptions, the comments, the likes, all of it. Keep it coming. I'm going to keep trying to pump out. I have ideas already for keeping the channel going in this off season and keeping our Sister Wives conversation afloat.
So, goodbye for now.
And with that, I'll see you after the wedding episodes.